Right now at noon, if you aren't planning to drop your absentee ballot off in person, get it in the mail today. And Amy Coney Barrett is sworn in as the 9th Supreme Court Justice, and President Trump calls in a crowd to witness it.
This is News 3 Now at noon.
And we start with breaking news. According to CBS Sports, Wisconsin quarterback Graham Mertz has tested positive for COVID-19 a second time, backing up the first positive test. Mertz will miss the game against Nebraska this weekend and will be out a total of 21 days based on Big Ten protocol. This is a developing story, and we'll have more tonight on News 3 Now. If you're planning to mail in your absentee ballot, today is the day to get it done. A decision by the U.S. Supreme Court last night means any absentee ballots received after 8 p.m. on Election Day will not be counted. This overturned a lower court ruling that would have allowed mail-in ballots to be counted up to 6 days after the election, as long as they were postmarked by Election Day. The U.S. Postal Service recommends allowing 1 week for your ballot to reach your clerk. That means send it in today. President Trump has 3 rallies today here in Wisconsin, just outside of La Crosse, and also in Michigan and Nebraska. Joe Biden is hoping to flip a traditional Republican stronghold, holding 2 campaign events in Georgia. More than 64 million Americans have already cast their ballots, and President Trump is asking some of those early voters to change their vote from Biden to Trump. Most states do not allow earlier absentee votes to change their minds, but a few do, including Wisconsin, where voters can do it up to 3 times. New at Noon USA Today reports that Facebook signed up a record 4.4 million, that is, people to vote. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg touted the achievement in a post on Monday, and Facebook says it's not over. The numbers could keep growing online. Registration is still open in multiple states, and Facebook is still running notifications. State law requires Madison Metropolitan School District to pass a budget by the end of October, so they're passing 2. One based on if their $350 million referendum passes on November 3rd, and the other based on if it fails. The district's chief of elementary schools spoke on News 3 Now this morning about why passing the referendum is important.
We have an opportunity to keep the momentum that we have already had in providing equitable opportunities for our students. The opportunity to have lower class sizes, to recruit and retain high qualified staff, and making sure that we do not have to have layoffs, which would cause classroom sizes to go up.
He says the referendum is a chance to turn aging classrooms into 21st century classrooms. It would also build a new elementary school to help address a gap in the district's educational service. Well, some extra sunshine, but still chilly today. Let's head to the Weather Center. Meteorologist Hattie McLean has a look at your first warm forecast. Hi, Hattie.
Hi, Mark. You're right on that chilly comment. It feels more like late November today than late October. But take a look behind me. You can see our sky camera shot showing you those clouds moving out of the area. So some good sunshine here in Madison and across most of southern Wisconsin. Our temperatures are warming, albeit slowly. We're in the mid-30s in many spots, 35 in Platteville, 36 in Mineral Point and Janesville. We're up to 34 here in Madison. Our temperatures over the next 12 hours are going to climb a few more degrees to a high of 38 this afternoon. We'll get to keep that sunshine all afternoon. Coming up, though, Halloween is right around the corner. We'll have all the details on the forecast.
All right, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you, Hattie. Amy Coney Barrett was formally sworn in last night as the Supreme Court's 9th Justice. Her oath administered in private by Chief Justice John Roberts. Barrett took the first of 2 oaths at the White House yesterday in what's considered a big political victory for the president just over a week before Election Day. Weijia Jiang has the latest from the White House.
She will make an outstanding justice.
President Trump wasted no time calling a crowd to the White House to witness the swearing in of Judge Amy Coney Barrett, his 3rd Supreme Court appointee.
I will do my job without any fear or favor, and that I will do so independently.
Is there a sufficient second?
Less than 2 hours earlier, the Republican-controlled Senate confirmed 48-year-old Barrett in one of the most partisan Supreme Court processes ever. No Democrats voted in her favor.
The nomination of Amy Coney Barrett of Indiana to be an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States is confirmed.
The president hopes securing Barrett will help him at the polls since she provides conservatives a 6-3 majority. In a matter of months, the justices will issue a ruling on Obamacare and possibly even the outcome of the presidential election. Last night's ceremony was a chance for Mr. Trump to take a victory lap.
I know you will make us all very, very proud.
1 month earlier, President Trump announced Barrett's nomination in the Rose Garden, which turned into a super spreader event. This time, guests were socially distanced on the South Lawn and required to wear a mask, but several hundred still attended. Campaigning in Pennsylvania, former Vice President Joe Biden said he hoped the president had learned a lesson from the first event.
I don't blame him for celebrating. There's a lot of things we could be doing, having massive crowds. But the fact is that it's just not appropriate now.
While President Trump continues to incorrectly claim that the virus is under control, Vice President Pence is taking extra precautions on the campaign trail, like covering his face at all times except when he is on stage, canceling interactions with supporters, and traveling with a group that is smaller than usual. He is charging ahead, however, with a packed schedule that includes rallies in 6 states over the next 3 days. Weijia Zhang, CBS News, the White House.
To our COVID-19 headlines now, officials with the Pecatonica Area School District closed the middle and high schools this morning after being notified someone tested positive for COVID. Students in grades 6 through 12 were dismissed at 8:30 this morning. Officials say parents will receive an email with updates on if school will resume virtually or if instruction will be delayed to allow for contact tracing. The U.S. is now averaging more than 69,000 new coronavirus cases a day. That's an all-time high. 12,000 people in the U.S. have been hospitalized for COVID-19 in just the last month, a jump of nearly 40%. Here in Wisconsin, 4 of UW Hospital's COVID wings are full, so they're opening another converted wing this week.
It's never been worse for us here in Wisconsin, and every day it's not getting better. It's getting a little bit worse. The ice is so thin right now as we try to do everything we can, get as creative as we can to take care of all the patients that need our services.
The situation in Utah's hospitals is increasingly dire, with experts warning that doctors may soon need to confront the unthinkable, rationing health care as beds fill up and staff are stretched thin. A deadly police shooting led to anger and violence in Philadelphia overnight. 30 officers were injured and dozens of people were arrested. The unrest was sparked when police killed a man who walked toward 2 officers, allegedly carrying a large knife. Officers confronted 27-year-old Walter Wallace Jr. with guns drawn. Police tell him to drop the weapon, but he continues walking toward them until they open fire. It's unclear how many shots were fired, but video from the aftermath shows at least 13 evidence markers. Wallace died at the hospital. Protesters are demanding answers from police. The mastermind of the alleged cult NXIVM will be sentenced today for his crimes, including sex trafficking. Keith Raniere was found guilty on 7 charges last year. He could face life in prison. Headquartered in Albany, New York, NXIVM marketed itself as a self-help organization. Women who left the group say Raniere was a master manipulator and sexual predator. Last year, Raniere was convicted on 7 charges, including sex trafficking and racketeering, an offense which included the production and possession of child pornography. There's more to come on News 3 Now and noon. Up next, let's see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
You may not go bananas, but you'll definitely go carrot crazy for the recipe we're whipping up today.
Wisconsin weather can be frustrating. Get the latest forecast, alerts, and detailed traffic reports from the News 3 Now team. Download the Channel 3000 Firstborn app, sponsored by Group Health Cooperative, and be prepared for anything headed our way.
And how you can protest.
Let's turn off the noise and look at the facts about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's government-run health care plan. Their plan could lead to hospitals being closed, put Medicare coverage at risk, and give benefits to illegal immigrants. Their plan is just too dangerous for seniors like us. No amount of noise will change that. Learn more at seniorsbeware.com.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
RHD Plumbing has the most reliable professionals in the industry, with honesty you can trust to deliver quality products and workmanship. Dedicated to being the best. So when you need a plumber for an important upgrade or 24-hour emergency service, call RHD. For your home or business, get the job done right the first time with no surprises with the reliable, honest, and dedicated plumbing professionals of RHD Plumbing, proud partner of the Green Bay Packers.
How often does Todd Novak vote with Republican Party leadership? 100% of the time. That's right. Now he votes 100% of the time with the Republican Party. Novak voted with his party leadership to protect polluters and let insurance companies cut coverage for people with pre-existing conditions. Novak said he would be an independent voice, then sided with corporate special interests 100% of the time. Todd Novak has changed. He's not working for us.
So, what do you think?
I love it.
If you elect me, your taxes are going to be raised, not cut.
What does that mean for you? Household incomes down $6,500 a year. Higher gas prices at the pump and utility bills at home.
And here's how it works. I'm going to raise taxes.
Small businesses pay more. 5 million jobs lost.
You're going to get a tax raise.
An economy in ruins. That's what Joe Biden's tax increase means for you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Carrots are one of those vegetables that we seem to take for granted. I think it's because they've always been so plentiful. They're so reasonable, and are they ever versatile? I mean, just think of all the dishes that have carrots in them. Everything from fill-you-up soups to hearty roasts. After all, what's a salad bar without a good carrot salad? Or a dessert table without a big piece of carrot cake slathered with cream cheese frosting? But the star today is a dish that we would probably never expect to find carrots in. Our pancakes. All we do is mix together a generous amount of shredded carrots, a bit of finely chopped onion, some eggs, oil, and flour to bind everything together. Now, to give this its big flavor, we add in some grated Parmesan cheese and a handful of seasonings along with a bit of baking powder, which helps these puff up. Once this is mixed, we'll spoon it onto a hot griddle or skillet and cook them just like we would any other pancake for a few minutes on each side. These are more of a side dish kind of pancake than they are for breakfast, which makes them a welcome addition to any meal. I do hope you'll go online and get the recipe for our crazy carrot pancakes. And if you're thinking, why do we call these crazy? It's because they're crazy easy, crazy good, and I haven't met a person who isn't crazy about them. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a crazy new way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, Howard, coming up next at noon, some more sunshine in the forecast, and we get a bit of a warm-up tomorrow. Hattie has your first warm forecast coming up.
Wisconsin. During early voting, you can same-day register and vote at your early voting site until October 30th. If you're already registered, the last day to vote early is November 1st. So go to iwillvote.com/WI to see where you can vote early now. Remember to bring a photo ID and proof of residency. For more information, call 608-336-3232.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
You were always the responsible one, so much like me, always taking care of everyone else. But this wasn't your responsibility. I already took care of the arrangements. The Ryans made it so easy. I didn't want you to worry about a thing. It's my last gift to you, my lovely daughter.
Election season is here. Remember, who you vote for is secret, but whether you vote is public information. Your friends, family, and neighbors can look up your voting record. This year, whether by mail, early, or on November 3rd, be sure to make a plan to vote. And after the election, your voting record will be updated based on your participation on November 3rd. So vote on or by November 3rd.
Donald Trump is lying again. Joe Biden will not raise taxes on anyone making under $400,000. Biden will close tax loopholes for big corporations. Trump's tax cut giveaway exploded our debt, so he's threatening Social Security and Medicare. Biden will make the wealthy and big corporations pay their fair share, so we can protect Social Security and Medicare and invest in schools and health care.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
This election season, News 3 Now has been your source for the facts about the 2020 vote. We've shown you how to request and track your ballot. We've put the race in perspective, discovering where the candidates need to deliver to win in Wisconsin. It all leads to Election Day, where you can expect more facts, more in-depth analysis, more reporters gathering new details, more experts answering your questions, all led by the team you can trust. The News 3 Now team is ready for an election like no other. The Farm Report is sponsored by Blain's Farm and Fleet.
Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee on this nice sunny Tuesday afternoon. Hi, Pam.
To look at from behind glass anyhow, that's for sure. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on with this drier weather that we've been having around Wisconsin. The latest crop progress report came out yesterday afternoon, and it shows that across the state we've got about 40% of our grain, our corn that's been harvested for grain. About 85% of our soybeans have already been harvested. Winter wheat, 94% planted. And the good news, 42% of our fall tillage has already been completed. So again, the farmers trying to capitalize. It doesn't matter so much about the temperature, but we don't need any moisture to keep that ground nice and firm for the heavy equipment that's got to be rolling out there. As our farmers kind of roll along here, I had a conversation with Jane Krull, who is with the Wisconsin Farm Center. I do want our farmers to know if you can't shut your mind off when you're in the combine or you're in the truck and tough to sleep and the anxiety levels just keep ticking along. Remember, there's a brand new service through the Wisconsin Farm Center that is available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Jess Beauchamp is a new staff member. She's manning the new Farmer Mental Wellness line, and it's a toll-free number, 888-901-2558. I'm going to be putting that up on my website and social media. It's a brand new service that was made available because of some extra monies from the Wisconsin State Legislature. Jane said that they're hoping those kinds of 24 hours a day, 7 days a week services will help farmers, especially as they try to weather not only Wisconsin's changing weather conditions, but also the economic climate that we're dealing with too. Now, dairy is one area that we've got to keep an eye on today. I was talking with one of my commodity brokers this morning, and he said our markets are becoming the brunt of the uncertainty about the election and how long it's going to take for us to come to some conclusions as far as the election's concerned. We saw it on Wall Street yesterday, and today our commodities are trading lower. Corn, beans, and wheat are all off on the midday. The other one to keep an eye on is dairy. Fluid milk contracts are dropping like a stone right now. All of that $500 million of money that's been allocated for the farmers to families' food boxes has to be spent by the end of this week. I did not realize that. They are going to make all purchases by the end of this week, and then basically it's all about transportation and the delivery of those goods through the end of December. That's what led to the fluid milk contracts kind of slipping. Barrel cheese today was down 1/4 cent, $2.45 1/4, and double A butter was down 3 1/4 cents at $1.40 3/4. No change on 40-pound block cheese. But I didn't realize that. They must have a pretty good ability to spend when it comes to $500 million in a matter of about 5 days' time, Mark. But that's what's happening. The money is going to be spent. The product will be moving into those food boxes between now and the end of December.
All right, that's good news. All right, Pam, thank you.
Yep.
Hattie's standing by now with a look at your sunny forecast.
That's right. We do have finally some sunshine in the area. Take a look at Weather Track and you'll see that back edge of the clouds working its way through Madison as we speak. North and west of Madison, skies are clear. So good news. Lots of sunshine for the remainder of the afternoon and a pretty quiet weather pattern around here. Let's zoom the map out a little bit and show you what's happening elsewhere across the country. We have a large storm system dropping quite a bit of ice across parts of Texas, Oklahoma, even into Kansas and Missouri. In fact, there are ice storm warnings in effect for Oklahoma City 3 for up to a ½ an inch of ice accumulation. So not good news down there with that storm system. It is going to stay to our south, so that storm system not expected to impact Wisconsin. Let's take a look at Tropical Storm Zeta move further into the tropics, and here we have Zeta back over the Gulf now. The storm is moving northwest at 14 miles an hour. Winds are 65 miles an hour, gusting up to around 75 miles an hour. It has weakened some as it traveled across the Yucatan Peninsula. Now it's expected to re-strengthen, though, out of those warmer waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Now we look at the storm track of this particular system. It is expected to intensify once again into Category 1 hurricane. Tomorrow morning, it'll start to make a northward turn and head towards parts of Louisiana by late in the day on Wednesday. So again, if this makes landfall in Louisiana, it'll be the 4th named storm or the 5th named storm this season, breaking all the records. Been very active in the tropics. The storm system will then weaken as it moves over land, and again, the track of this system will keep most of that moisture to the south. We may see a little bit of cloud cover here, but again, most of that rain is going to stay well to our south. And speaking of rain, here are rain totals from Zeta. 4 to 8 inches from New Orleans up into parts of Alabama and Tennessee, so dropping quite a bit of rain on areas that don't necessarily need it. A live look here in Madison. By contrast, things much quieter. This is our Edgewater sky camera shot looking to the west. Not a cloud in the sky this afternoon. Temperatures are still chilly, though. Despite that sunshine, only 34 here in Madison, 32 in the Dells, 36 in Mineral Point. Our wind chills over the next 12 hours are going to stay in the low 30s. So even with that sunshine, it's still going to feel chilly. This is what it'll feel like this afternoon if you're outside. Wind chills then dropping into the lower 20s as a southwesterly wind picks up a little bit tonight. Here's a look at our future track forecast model. Again, we have sunshine for the remainder of the afternoon. These are the high temperatures forecast across the region. 37 in the Dells and Juneau, maybe cracking 41 in Janesville, but the rest of the spots staying in the 30s. Skies will remain mostly clear overnight tonight, and it will be chilly once again. Take a look at those temperatures. We are looking at a low of 27, but at least we warm up tomorrow. 50 degrees on Wednesday with sunshine. Thursday, the remnants of Zeta pass to our south, so we're looking at a few more clouds. Isolated chance for a shower to the south, highs in the mid-40s. Here's that Halloween forecast, though. If it's a party for one like this mummy, you're dancing alone in your house on Halloween.
Socially distanced.
I know, it's important this year. These are the temperatures. High for the day, actually in the low 50s, which is right on track for the end of October.
Looking good. All right, Hattie, thank you. There's more to come on News 3 Now and New. Get your diet and nutrition questions ready. Michelle Schwader is ready to take your calls at 270-9933. We'll be right back.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
If I have the honor of being president, I promise you I will lead. My plan lowers healthcare costs, gets us to universal coverage quickly when Americans desperately need it, by making it less expensive for Americans to choose plans with lower deductibles and out-of-pocket expenses, by lowering prescription drug prices, by ending the practice of so-called surprise billings. When I'm president, I will take care of your healthcare coverage and your family the same way I would my own. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
The house before you, over 30 years old, still has its original window. It's bone.
Folks, there's no need to be afraid of old windows. Just call Feldco for 50% off.
Right now at Feldco, get 50% off windows. Plus, no interest for 1 year.
50% off ends Halloween. Hurry, call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
Because talk is cheap. Let's look at what Joe Biden's done. During the last economic crisis, President Obama trusted Joe to lead the recovery and bring us back. Now he has the plan to do it again, to revive and reinvest in jobs and real help for middle-class families. He'll listen to experts to get control of the virus so we can build back even better. Joe Biden, a president to get it done. FFPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
We all know that on its own, his work does not capture the full measure of Joe Biden. Folks don't just feel like they know Joe, the politician, they feel like they know the person. When Joe sticks up for the little guy, we hear the young boy who used to stand in front of the mirror, determined to vanquish a debilitating stutter. When Joe talks to auto workers whose livelihoods he helped save, we hear the son of a man who once lost his job. When Joe talks about hope and opportunity for our children, we hear the father who rode the rails home every night so he could be there to tuck his kids into bed. When Joe talks to Gold Star families who've lost a hero, we hear another father of an American veteran, somebody whose faith has been tested and who knows who to lean on to find the light. A resilient and loyal and humble servant. And through his life, he has never once forgotten the values and the moral fiber that made him who he is. The best part is he's nowhere close to finish.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Welcome back. Michelle Schroeder, dietitian at UW Health, is ready to take your calls. Diet nutrition questions. 270-9933 is the number to call. Michelle, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Pretty good. Let's talk about boosting our immune system with the full cold and flu and COVID.
Right. So I think there's a little bit of misinformation out there. One of the things that we want to make sure we focus on is taking our immune system, which might not be working its best, and make it work optimally. Now, there's no way to really boost your immune system into overdrive. We can't make it overactive, and actually an overactive immune system can also cause problems. So we're just looking at optimizing it, making sure it works the best to fight off any infection as quickly as possible.
So how do you do that?
Well, normally there's lots of ways to do it. Things like getting good sleep, exercise, having a good stress relief program can help. But when it comes to nutrition, we're looking basically at healthy proteins like nuts and seeds and seafood and beans, and then also a lot of produce, looking at fruits and vegetables and making sure that you get quite a lot of them into your day. So you can either judge by trying to get half of your intake to be fruits and vegetables, or you could look at servings and try to get 8 to 10, even more servings per day. Now, it seems like a lot, but if you're doing something like a salad or you're giving yourself a double portion of vegetables, it can add up pretty quickly and you can get there.
Even a glass of V8.
Right, that does have some nutrients in there that you wouldn't probably get if you were obviously drinking a soda.
Right. All right, let's go to the calls. We have Pam in Madison. Hi, Pam, what's your question?
My good cholesterol is 3 points below the minimum, and I'd just like to know what to eat to bring it back up.
Yeah, great question, because your good cholesterol is actually influenced by food quite a bit. So basically what you want to focus on is the healthy fats. So I mentioned seafood already. You could do something like fatty fish, like tuna or salmon. Definitely your seeds and your nuts. Basically any fat coming from a plant, which also includes avocado, olive oil, olives in general. So those will all be good things to increase. And actually another thing that does influence it is exercise. So if you can get out and be active, that also actually can help your good cholesterol.
All right, let's go to Rick in Beloit. Hi, Rick, what's your question?
My question is, what are the benefits of intermittent fasting, especially the 16-8 program where you go 16 hours of not eating and 8 hours where you can't eat?
Right, so that is a very popular strategy right now, and I actually work with some patients on that. And basically what it does is it gives your body a window of time where it can take in the calories and, of course, the nutrients, like we were just talking about, take those in, but also then have a stretch of time when the body is responsible for providing the energy. One of the challenges with eating, from sunup to sundown is that the body never really has to dip into its source. It's fat stores. There's always another snack or meal around the corner. And so by fasting, you're able to make the body take ownership of that energy production for a longer period of time.
All right. Thanks for calling. We're out of time. Michelle, thank you. Hattie has one final check of the forecast.
And we have sunshine in the area today. The good news, it's going to stick around for the rest of the afternoon.